Hey, what's going on? It's Hicks Uncensored. I've arrived with another one, and I want to go over this video about this woman who was brutally beat and tortured by her boyfriend, because there's so many things that I want to say about women who are in relationships with guys who beat them up, who hit on them, and mistreat them. I also noticed that I have a lot of new subscribers. Welcome. Later on within this channel, I'm going to be making this as a podcast. But also, there's going to be some interviews that I'm going to be doing about particular topics. Also, I will set it up to where you guys will be able to see me instead of the picture in the background. Let's take a look at this video.
I would bring my arms up to block the punches, and he would say, "Put your arms down."
Jordana Cain tells me the night of February 5th, 2022 started out great. Her parents and grandmother came for dinner in the San Francisco apartment she shared with her partner, Antonio Gamero.
You try to be like me. The only thing is you're not slick like me.
He was 12 years older than Jordana, got her a job working for him in commercial real estate, and he liked to cook.
So he made dinner for my family, cooked lamb shanks for them, and then he made me sea bass because I don't eat meat. And we had a great time. It was really nice. Everyone was getting along and laughing.
A surveillance camera caught her family leaving after 10:30 that Saturday night. Jordana and Antonio seemed in good spirits as they walked back upstairs, but he was actually seething about something her father had said. Jordana got in trouble as a 13-year-old for texting an older man, even though she never met him in person.
And it was just something so small.
Right.
That I didn't share with him because I knew how volatile he was and how violent he was over things that nothing. Like, he would find any reason to become violent with me.
See, I gotta stop it there. Now, there's gonna be a lot of things that I'm going to say. There's gonna be a lot of things that I'm gonna mention within this video. You have women who are in relationships with men who they know he's abusive. They know that this guy is quick to fly off the handle. They know that this guy is really no good for them. And many times what we do as a people, we know this shit is no good, but we'll just sit and deal with it. You'll sit in a situation that you know that could potentially be harmful to you. Me personally, if I know that something is harmful to me or potentially could be harmful to me, then I don't fuck with it. I don't deal with it. I get rid of it. But one thing I will say is a lot of these women, they're so entangled within that fucked up relationship, that abusive relationship, they don't have an outlet. They don't know how to get out of it. This is why I always say, as a man, you have to know when it's go time. And what I mean by that is, me personally, I have sisters. They know that when it's necessary, they can call on me. I've made it known. They know what the hell I do. They know that they're able to call on me when necessary. When you're a man and you're a true leader, you know that there's gonna be times that you're gonna be called on, and you need to be well and fully equipped to be able to take care of issues when certain things need to be taken care of. Again, I have sisters. They know that, hey, I can call on my brother when it's necessary. When it's time for help, if ever that I need help, I know that I have someone who can assist me properly. Again, there's a lot of females, they're sitting in abusive relationships simply because they don't know what the hell to do. They don't know how to really get up out of that. They're so tied in. They're so entangled in. They don't know what to do. Let's continue on, because again, there's so much more that I want to say.
Exploded and told Jordana to get out of the apartment, throwing all her clothes into 2 garbage bags.
Right. He punched me a few times here, and then he grabbed my clothes here and threw them out of that window on the right.
The building's front door camera caught Jordana at 10:58 p.m. rushing outside to retrieve her belongings. For 10 minutes, she agonized over what to do. Then Antonio came down. She told him she didn't want to go home to her parents.
Why?
You're gonna leave tomorrow. I already got you.
And another thing, see, you have some guys Some very emotionally insecure guys who like to exercise power over weak women. They like to exercise power over women. A woman who he knows she has no backing. She has no covering. What do I mean by no backing and no covering? He knows that she can't call on anybody. He knows that she can't call up on anybody who's going to assist her. Because if he knew that she was able to call on somebody who would come and put that fire on his ass, he wouldn't treat her in the manner that he's treating her. If he knew that she had someone that she would be able to call upon who would offer her protection, he wouldn't be treating her in the manner that he treats her in. See, when I speak, I'm trying to make what I say as clear as I possibly can. I'm trying to leave no room for misunderstanding.
What do you mean about your hotel?
Jordana tells me as soon as they got to the third floor, the violence started again.
And I had tried to leave out the front door because he started to punch me. And then he had grabbed me with one arm and then slammed the door on me repeatedly and then closed it and locked it. And he started punching me. And
Jordana says when she fell to the floor and tried to protect her face, he kneed and kicked her, then dragged her down the hallway to the bedroom.
And he had grabbed me by the back of my head and was repeatedly slamming my face into the door. And then he pulled my mouth open and put his fingers in my mouth and said he was going to rip my mouth open.
Antonio dragged her by the hair to the living room couch and started choking her, but she broke free.
I'm gonna tell you guys something that you won't hear here on the news. Can I keep it 100 with you guys? Can I keep it real with you? Can I keep it real with you without people being offended? If that was a woman who I knew that I had love for, I would tell her, you need to get a firearm. You need to go through the procedures and get a firearm and learn how to use that firearm. These are the things that you don't hear on the news. Why? Because it's so politically incorrect to tell somebody that, even though that could tremendously help them. There's females out here who sometimes are losing their lives. And I don't want to make it seem like a lot of guys are out here beating on females. That's not the case. But do you have some who are? Yes, you do. And I'm going to say this as if I was talking to my sister or as if I was talking to a woman who I care about. You need to take your self-protection serious. And these are things that I talk about on my other YouTube channel. And one day I may let you guys know about that other YouTube channel, but not right now. But you need to take your self-protection serious. What I would tell to my woman, I would encourage her to get a firearm. You never know when danger is gonna happen. You never know when danger is going to present itself. It's your job to be as ready as you possibly can for when that danger arrives. As I mentioned, I'm gonna tell you some shit that they're not gonna say here on ABC 7. Women who are going through abusive relationships, you need to get yourself a firearm. And I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, I don't know how to use it. I don't know what to do. Fuck all of that. You're going to learn how to use it. The same way you learned how to drive an automobile, you're going to learn how to use a firearm effectively. Because again, you never know when violence is gonna happen. There has been times where people are getting beat on and that beating leads to their death. You never know. You never know what could potentially happen from a beating. You could end up being beat so bad that you don't survive. And I'm not trying to wait to see what happens. I'm here to tell you, it's necessary for you to start taking your safety serious. See, that's why you need men like me. I'm gonna tell you what the fuck you need to hear, regardless of what you think at that particular moment. Because you can disagree with me at that particular moment, but when you sit and think about it, you'll say, that actually makes sense. I let my sister know, you need to get a firearm. You need to get a firearm and you need to go to that range and get comfortable with that firearm. You need to get comfortable with how to use it, because you never know when someone is going to try to seek to do harm to you. You need to be able to properly and effectively defend yourself.
Run over to the window to throw it open because I thought I was gonna have to jump out of the apartment because he wasn't gonna let me leave.
Antonio grabbed Jordana, threw her onto this marble table, breaking it and gashing her forehead. She tells me he continued to punch her until he started to cry.
And then he looked at me in the face where I was covered with blood and said, "You deserve this. You know that, right?"
San Francisco 911, please fire medical.
Again, I have to pause it because there's certain things that I need to say. And I know that some of you guys don't like when I keep pausing it, but I'm gonna work on that. But if he really didn't like what she did, you can simply just say, hey, I don't want to deal with you. Or you can simply go to her and say, hey, listen, you did something that I don't approve of. And then you proceed on to let her know what it was she did that you don't approve of. But you have some guys who are just very insecure. And I hate to use that word because I see so many women, they like to say, oh, he's insecure, insecure. When really the guy is not even insecure. Are there guys who are insecure? Yes. I don't have the time to sit up and be beating on a woman and potentially get a domestic violence charge and go to prison. She's just not worth that. If she did something that you don't like, you voice it, you let her know. If she continue doing something that you don't like, you let her go. That's how you handle that. We don't sit up and beat on women and whoop on women's ass and all of that shit. Why? We can simply, hey, get rid of her.
A teenage girl happened to be parked across the street with her friends and called for help.
Well, we heard screaming, so I turned and I looked and the window was open and some guy was hitting her.
I wonder what word you have now for that teenage girl who called 911.
I'm incredibly grateful to her. She saved my life. I don't think I ever would have been able to get out of that relationship with him.
Hi, where do you live?
When police
and that's
arrived,
what I mean. A lot of them, they're so deep into that relationship. They're so tied up within that relationship, they literally don't know what to do. And a lot of people will say, well, she should just leave him. She should just leave him. Now, she could do that, but she needs some help doing that. She needs to know you have to have a plan. You can disappear on his ass. He can come back there and none of your shit is there. You're completely gone. But a lot of these women, these guys know where their mother lives. They know a lot about that female. But guess what? You don't have any protection. You don't have any covering. You don't have any men that you can call upon. When you're a man and you're a leader, you have got to know that you need to be prepared and equipped for certain situations that may take place.
Antonio opened the building's front door and told officers a series of lies. First, that he lived on the second floor, not the third floor.
Did you hear anybody fighting upstairs?
I did hear something across the street.
Okay, what's wrong with your face, dude? Why is your face all scratched up?
It's not scratched.
Yeah, I can see scratches.
You got scratches on your chest.
Just stay down here.
He later claimed his cat had scratched him.
Who's up there with you? No one's up there. Just my cat and I. Yeah.
As officers arrived at the apartment, they found the door wide open.
Anyone in here? Police!
He's been whooping that woman's ass all around that apartment. And for you to take it to the extreme where you slammed her on the table and broke the table, you're out of fucking control. A lot of this could have been prevented by being proactive and not reactive. She mentioned in the beginning that she pretty much knew he was violent.
I knew how volatile he was and how violent he was over things that nothing. Like, he would find any reason to become violent with me.
They searched but couldn't find Jordana.
There's a back door here.
Finally, one officer walked past the laundry through the door that leads to the back stairwell.
Wait, hey.
Antonio told her to hide from police there.
Ma'am, talk to me.
Look
Come
at
here,
how
come here.
pitiful this is.
Talk to us. Come here. Yeah. Come here. Get up here.
That's probably gonna be S1.
Come here. Let's you.
That's a damn shame. That is an absurd shame. Women, you have got to have someone who you can call on because you can't do everything yourself. It's necessary to have someone who you can call on when you're in trouble. I let it be known to the women that I love, you can call on me. There's things that I already have in place to where I can grab a bag and be ready when it's necessary for those that I love. This woman is sitting here with blood pouring down her face. Why? Because some bitch ass clown who can't control how he feels, who can't control his emotions, I guarantee you he knows that that woman don't have anybody she can call on. What if he knew that she had a brother who she can call on who's coming with some force? Do you think he would have behaved in the manner that he behaved in? Do you think he would have been doing some of the things that he did to her? Do you think he would have potentially thought twice before he put his hands on her? Sometimes, people, all I'm saying is it takes violence to stop certain things. You may agree, you may disagree. The United States government has shown you that. When you look at history, it has taken violence to stop certain things from happening. Be proactive and not reactive.
Jordana wouldn't tell the officers what happened, but she did identify Antonio as her boyfriend and said they had been dating a year and a half.
Ma'am, would it be okay if we documented your injuries a little more from the side?
Jordana suffered a broken nose, fractured eye socket, deep laceration to her forehead that required 2 sets of stitches, a black eye, bruises to her ear, legs, arms, and body.
He could have killed her. He could have killed her because many times unjust things take place. Many times there are very unjust things that takes place. I'm not finna have my sister land in some fucking hospital because this dude can't control how he feels, because this motherfucker don't like something that she did. You could have simply verbally voiced your disapproval. But instead of verbally voicing your disapproval, you took it to a physical level.
She had to undergo invasive surgery to address facial asymmetry caused by the attack. It still feels numb.
Cuffs.
Officers arrested Antonio Gamero, and during his domestic violence trial, his attorney, Deputy Public Defender Ilona Yanez, tried to turn the focus to Jordana Cahan.
I was constantly bombarded with, like, why did you stay? Why didn't you leave? One, it's extremely dangerous to try to leave a domestic violence relationship. But 2, there's so much shame and guilt and embarrassment surrounding it already.
From court transcript.
Listen again, some of these women, they're so tied up. They're so entangled up in a fucked up relationship, they don't know what to do and they need help. I personally know a female who was dealing with some of this same shit and she didn't know what to do. She didn't know what to do. She kept dealing with the guy because she didn't know what to do. If I have a woman and I'm in a relationship with my woman and I'm considering her to be my woman, then what I'm gonna do, I'm going to game my woman the fuck up. I'm going to give her information that could mentally empower her and keep her out of certain situations. Again, information will keep you out of a fucked up situation. Information could mentally empower you. So if I care about her and I'm really liking her and I tell her that she's my woman, then what is my job to do for my woman? I gotta teach my woman. I got to bring her information that she don't have. When she doing something that I know that she shouldn't be doing, then what is my job? To correct that. What is my job? To redirect that. What is my job? To bring information and enlightenment. But a lot of women are out here dealing with dumbass dudes who can't even teach them nothing. And that's a topic that I'm going to make on another video. There's a lot of women, you're in relationships with a dude who's just as fucking dumb as you are. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that women are dumb. And you're in a relationship with a guy who can't mentally equip you for anything. He can't teach you anything. He's just as fucking stupid.
Scripts, Yanez told the jury she's obsessed with Antonio. So this isn't the story of the poor, vulnerable, abused woman over and over. This is more fatal attraction. This is a woman who couldn't let go. But phone calls Antonio made from jail didn't help his case. Here he talks to a family member about Jordana's testimony at the preliminary hearing.
Truth, hearing her testimony as well, I was really trying to hear if she was going to inflate anything or, be hyperbolic, but honestly, she wasn't.
And here he talks to his downstairs neighbor about mitigating or trying to avoid the harshest penalties.
I'm here to mitigate. This is where I'm at. Yeah.
Bottom line, this guy knows that he's guilty. He knows that he's in the wrong. He knows he got caught, and he know that he fucked up. And he know that there is nothing he can do about it now. He got 7 years to life. He's lucky that he gets to go to jail. If he was dealing with a woman who had men who were serious about protecting her, he'd be dead already. He wouldn't get to go to prison. Women have got to be mindful about what they're doing, but you have got to also be mindful about what you're not doing, about not being proactive, about allowing things to linger on. It's not normal to just be whooping on a woman's ass. Now, sure, a guy may raise his voice, he might yell or this and that. That's one thing. But taking it to a physical level, especially the level that he took it, that's another thing. You can't keep your hands to yourself, then you don't need to be with a woman. If you can't control how you feel, then you don't need to be with a woman. An emotional bitch is what you are. In my opinion, men can control their emotions. Men, that's not to say that he doesn't get upset or angry, but he can control his anger. And he doesn't allow his anger to control him. Are we all gonna get upset and mad and maybe curse and this and that? Yeah. So don't misunderstand me. And don't think that I'm sitting here saying that guys are like, that's not what I'm saying. Because most guys aren't like this. Most men are not like this. Of course, you always have a few here and there. Be proactive, not reactive. Again, she mentioned that he was pretty violent. That's your opportunity to cut shit short. It's Hicks Uncensored. Peace.